Hello, thank you so much for dropping by this video. So, this channel started as me helping to expose a fake spiritual teacher, a fake guru, someone who was playing the role of guru and really was abusing their power. And it's been quite a journey. I was got to be a part of a team who helped to expose this teacher, and it was quite a journey. It was challenging at times. It was inspiring at times. There was times it's like, wow, it feels good to be, you know, exposing wrongs that I was somehow helping to protect people. I got emails from people who had been hurt by this teacher. Um, I got emails from people who were concerned about other people who were involved in this movement and starting to experience negative impacts. Um, I got to step into my own power. Sometimes I overdid it where I expressed sort of resentment and sarcasm, and it was just not helpful. It's been quite the journey. But what I've learned most of all through this, and the big part of learning came in where a lot of his devotees came at me on Facebook, here on YouTube. I got a lot of backlash. So it's been quite a journey. And one of the things I learned is that, you know, let's say that I'm right, me and these other people who have exposed this particular teacher. Let's say we're right, or we're mostly right, that, okay, this is a fake teacher. And um, so then the thing is, what I've learned is, just going ahead and speaking the truth, which I did reasonably. I started to look through some of my old videos, and there were moments where I got a little exaggerated, but mostly what I did is I just spoke what was true, is actually not the most helpful thing to do in terms of if you're trying to save people. And I'll say why. So, for example, let's say, this particular teacher has really twisted a very ancient and sacred spiritual practice and spiritual, I don't want to say philosophy, a way of life, and just really twisted it and is now marketing it. And it's just um, but making videos, and that's what I did initially. I made videos like, blah de blah teacher is teaching this incorrectly. And, I have a bachelor's in religion. So I'm literally trained in the academic study of religion. I've long time meditator, long time student of this path, and very qualified. I couldn't quite say, from a worldly point of view, not quite an expert, but approaching an expert level of understanding of this subject. So I'm very well educated on this. There we can say that I'm very well educated on this subject matter. And so I made a lot of videos that were just very factual, and people couldn't hear it. The people who were in the movement, they literally could not hear it. And the way they would respond to me would be to literally come at me. And I would say, okay, but how about what I'd say? And they'd say like, who are you to question the master? And I would say, okay, and, traditionally this is how it's taught, and he's contradicting it. And they would say, well, you're just full of ego. They were literally unable to hear what I was saying. So part of what I've realized is that, in making those videos, I was wanting to effect what's called social change. When you want to have an impact, not just on an individual, but on impact on a larger scale. The technical term for it is social change. And the question is how to go about it. So the good news about the videos I made is people who were dissatisfied with that teacher, or who had left that teacher, or who had connected with that teacher and just felt like, oh, something's wrong. Like, they really got a lot out of my videos. And so this YouTube channel had kind of become a haven and a place where people could sort of recover and heal from the experience. So in that sense, there was some good social change happening. But I wasn't When I was making these videos initially, I was wanting to reach the people who I felt were really trapped in something that was bordering a cult. And the way I did it was really ineffective to reach that audience, to reach the audience that was already dissatisfied. Like, I found my niche. So, what I've learned from all of this is that once someone takes a belief system in, um, and places absolute faith or trust in a belief system, they're literally cut off from reality. And we all do it to some extent. A cult like spiritual teacher or organization, of course, is an extreme example. But we need to be very, very mindful of what we give our absolute faith and trust to. And so this is even more so the case. I call it what we give authority to. So the people in this movement gave authority to their spiritual teacher. So it's like anything the teacher said, they're like, it's true. It's unquestionably true. Now, that would be fine if the teacher was ethical, if the teacher, was a true guru or true spiritual teacher, but he isn't. And it's gotten a lot of people in a lot of trouble. So all of this is very who and what we give authority to is a very important question in the 21st century because of the internet. Anyone can say anything, including me. Like, I'm just a dude making a YouTube channel. Some of you have gotten to know me. I'll post this on my Facebook page. Some of you know me personally, so you have a little bit of trust. But the thing is, thanks to the internet, anyone can say anything, and they can make fancy videos. They can wear robes. This guy did. They can all sort that fancy web page. They can create a false sense of authority. And so the question is, who do we believe? And so the thing that I've really learned from all of this is there's only, I have a particular teacher who I pretty much just assume everything they say is true. They have my trust, and I'm not willing to give anyone or anything absolute authority. And one of the reasons why I trust this teacher so much is he said, "Don't believe anything I say, find out for yourself." That engendered some faith in that. That's part of, but regardless, even with this person who I wouldn't trust my soul with, the bottom line is we each have to awaken our truth sensor. We all have inside of us a conscience, an instinct, a gut instinct that knows what's right and what's not right. And not just in terms of behavior. If someone treats us unwell, we feel unwell, and that's that instinct being like, no, this isn't good. It starts really simply, which we touch, a red hot stove and we pull away. Our body has that instinct. And then maybe a more subtle level is someone treats us unwell and we feel yucky afterwards. But even deeper than that, we have the capacity within us to know what's true. And so to awaken that and find that is absolutely essential for every person, especially in the 21st century where there's so much misinformation floating around on the internet. So that's part of what I learned. The thing is, one person, I didn't have direct contact with this person, but someone came by my channel and said, wow, I was speaking to this devotee, and this devotee said, there's nothing that anyone could say that would lead me to doubt this teacher. So that's a problem. That's a problem for her, but it's also a problem for each one of us. If we grasp onto something so firmly that we're not even willing to look at it, we're not even willing to ask, is this true? That's when we're in trouble. That's when we've closed ourselves off from life. And, a slightly more subtle thing is assuming that just because someone said something, it's true, right? That's when we're kind of unconscious, when actually we The truth of life is we need to be conscious moment by moment and tuned into what we're a yes and what we're a no to. And that includes listening to people. That includes listening to jokers like me on YouTube to feel in like, hey, do I resonate with what this guy is saying? We can't be passive listeners, readers, or watchers anymore. It doesn't work. It's never really worked. And it's definitely doesn't work in the 21st century. So part of what spurred this is, I think that's all. I think I'll just stop there for now. So thanks so much for dropping by, and I wish you, the way to know is to just observe your body. Our body has such wisdom, and for me, I'm utterly convinced that I am and we are an immortal soul that lives inside this body, that we're not the body. But regardless of your spiritual or religious beliefs on the topic, there is a wisdom to the body that does know. And if we can learn to observe our body, we will get accurate feedback about what's good and what's not good, what's true and not true. Thanks so much. Take care.